The White House readout says the president demanded Israel take concrete steps to protect civilians or risk a change in U.S. policy toward Israel. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Brussels says the president also called for an end in fighting.
He underscored as well that an immediate ceasefire is essential to stabilize and improve the humanitarian situation and protect innocent civilians, and he urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to empower his negotiators to conclude a deal without delay to bring the hostages home.
In Idaho, a hearing today for Idaho College murder suspect Brian Kohberger. Defense attorneys are requesting a change of venue, alleging the jury pool is biased. And more snow in store for Maine and Vermont on top of several feet of snow in the latest spring storm. This is ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouth-watering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Thursday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. DJ Damon is alongside for the ride for the next 2 hours. The number 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Welcome in. Look forward to it. We've got a great show in store for you, including the one and only Eli Gold in about 15 minutes. We're excited about that.
Absolutely.
We will have a great discussion with him, and then Alex Doherty will join us to begin the second hour of the program, covering the Predators for the Tennessean, as they have a big tilt tonight against the St. Louis Blues. Justin, how we doing?
Doing okay. Glad to be here, ready to rock and roll. A lot to get into here. Excited about our guest coming up in a few minutes. Anybody who spends a lot of time behind these microphones should know and respect the name of Eli Gold. So that will be very cool coming up here in a few.
No doubt about it. And I talked about the hockey angle last night. Rangers and Devils, they dropped the puck, and nobody went after the puck.
No.
It was quite odd.
No.
Instead, they just dropped their mitts and just started fighting.
Yeah, just went for it.
It was crazy. I mean, basically everybody fought but the goalies.
Yeah. And only because they were too far away.
Well, I mean, goalies have skated towards each other.
Yeah. They got a little ways to go. So, normally there's people to kind of go, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
But, listen, sometimes things happen in sports where honor needs to be defended.
Oh, this was stemming back for, I think, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, I saw it. I saw the play that you're speaking of that, where people decided, you know what? We're riding out together.
We remember.
We saw that. We took note of that. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, this is a sport that allows us to do something about it. So as soon as they drop that puck, we're coming to get you. And not just then, but several points in the game, they dropped the gloves and went for it.
Let's further examine that.
Yeah.
Both teams had 4 minor penalties. Both teams had 6 major penalties. The Devils had 5 misconducts. The Rangers had 4 misconducts. The Devils' total penalty minutes time, 88 minutes.
Yeah.
New York Rangers total penalty minutes time. Boy, I'm going to have a hard time talking today. 78.
Yeah.
78 penalty minutes for the Rangers, 88 for the Devils.
Yeah.
Now,
most in about a decade.
There was one coach that we're very familiar with that was also hot to trot behind the bench. That would be one, Peter Laviolette.
Peter Laviolette.
Devils head coach Travis Green was also hot to trot. And I think it was Darren Pang that was in the middle.
Darren Pang.
You know how they now have kind of the reporter right in the middle of the benches, and he's got
There's a name from the past.
Coaches screaming at each other right behind him. And I knew Peter Laviolette because he did this here so much. I always knew when Peter Laviolette was about to lose it. Whenever he would he's a coach that chews on gum during games. And when he would take his gum out of his mouth, get ready, because it's coming. And he took the gum out of the mouth and started headed toward that opening to go after Travis Green, and those two were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Now, I bring that up because today, Justin.
What's happening today?
A lot of national attention on that game.
Yes, I've seen it.
So I'm bringing this up to ask you.
Made the local news this morning.
It's made a lot of news.
Yes.
Yeah. Locally, nationally, it's made a lot of news.
Okay.
And I'm bringing this up because we've kind of taken this little journey together here on the McFarland Show, and you.
I know I have, yes.
The hockey journey.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I want to know, I want to start with you.
Okay.
And if the listeners want to get involved, certainly they can. It's interesting to me how you should feel about an event like last night. Again, it's created a buzz about hockey.
Yes.
People are talking about hockey today that weren't talking about it yesterday because the Rangers and the Devils played each other and they dropped the puck to start the game, and no one went after the puck. Everybody went after each other, and they just fought.
Yes.
And it went on for a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And they've got this guy, Rimpe, who's this call-up for the Rangers, and he's this big, huge dude, and he's fighting everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know.
He's long guy.
His fight went on forever.
Yeah.
Against McDevitt or whatever for the Devils. Anyways, I ask you because it feels a lot to me, someone who's been following and covering hockey for a long time.
Yes.
The only time hockey really gets brought up to any great extent, especially just a regular season game, is the equivalent of NASCAR.
Oh, with the wrecks.
We only talk about NASCAR when two things happen. Either one, the drivers get out of their car and they race towards each other and they start fighting in the pits or on the track.
Yes.
Or two, there's a big, horrific wreck.
Yeah.
And the next day, everyone's talking about NASCAR.
Did you see
Everybody's talking about racing.
Yeah.
It feels the same way to me today. Look, if the Rangers and the Devils just played an amazing game last night, no one's talking about it. Not nationally.
No.
In their markets, you know, those two markets are basically intertwined.
The same anyway, yeah.
Yeah, they're intertwined, and they may talk about it.
Separated by the river, yeah.
But not really. I mean, nobody's really going to talk about it other than, man, that was a great game last time between the Rangers and the Devils. Yeah.
Instant classic.
No. So to me, it takes something like that. So am I right? Am I wrong? It just feels like this is the only way. And is that a good thing for the sport? Whether it's racing or hockey, where basically something like this has to happen or no one's talking about it.
You're right in that something like this needs to happen. The only other time with hockey in particular, that's something that it gets a lot of attention is the end of the season when someone wins the Stanley Cup. Because that's
I said regular season.
That's okay, regular season.
Yeah, regular season.
Regular season. So the answer to regular season is yes. Or something else unfortunate happens where a puck goes flying someplace unfortunate and, it either shatters the glass and people are scurrying for safety, or unfortunately someone gets hit with the puck and then something happens from there. Now, is that a bad thing? I don't think it's either good or bad. I think it's become what is the norm. No one was surprised, Darren, when they started to fight in hockey, because it becomes a general understanding that you're allowed to fight in hockey. Like, no one's like, they let them fight. Like, that's your fault if you didn't know that at this stage in the game. Even me, or even the most casual person, knows that fighting is allowed in hockey to a certain degree. So I don't know if anyone was shocked. Now, people may have been shocked about the amount of people who were fighting, but just watching, like, oh, well, something must have happened. What happened? How did they end up this way? Now, is that it's not going to help the growth of the sport. That's for sure. You need a personality doing something very special in order for the sport to grow, like Wayne Gretzky.
So that's why I'm asking. So you don't think that grows it?
No.
I'm literally asking because I want to hear from someone like you.
No, it doesn't help grow
and
it
I'm
at
not
all.
saying that to it's not insulting.
It's fine. I don't think it helps it grow at all. Does it bring awareness? Sure. But again, most people have seen hockey fights on social media, on somewhere, even if you're not a fan of the sport. I've seen hockey fights, but what does that really mean?
This one was a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
By the way, 8 guys got tossed right after that.
Gotcha. Is it extraordinary? Yeah. But in today's age where things move so fast, it's not going to stick and stay. It's more of a moment, not a movement. So I don't think people are going to stick around long term because there was a brawl last night in New Jersey or in New York. I don't even know where they were in New York.
It was Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
They've been the scene of many fights over the years.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah, boxing, professional, and otherwise.
Well, no, there's been fights go up in the stands. So,
plenty. Now, fisticuffs are not new there at Madison Square Garden. So, no, it's neither good nor bad, Darren. It's what it is.
Okay. Adam on our text line says the Rangers and the Devils were like, puck you. That's with a P. Puck you. And then all the hockey games you hope to see. You went 1994 Royal Rumble style on ice.
Yep.
He said the jealousy is off the charts. Adam in Portland.
Yeah. A lot of people identify with that. I would love to play a sport where they let you fight, man. But, to me, the fight was lackluster, most of it. Some hockey fights can be really good. Some of them, Now, do they hurt? I'm sure they hurt.
Well, the heavyweight fight lived up to it.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of guys. First of all, you saw the Devils guys. 2 of them skate out of the picture, and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with
But
this.
then the next thing you know, they're like, oh, crap, there's 2 other guys just skating around doing nothing. So
yeah, we're expected to go.
Okay, I guess we're supposed to fight here.
Go do it, yeah. You got to uphold the honor of the team now.
Right.
You can't just be out there.
You can't go hang out on the wall.
No. Not in this case, you can't. Say, that's between them. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know what happened. I wasn't on the team when that happened. I was in the minors I was in Newark when that happened. I don't know anything about it.
Let's go to Nate in Columbia on our phone line. Nate, what's up?
Hey, Nate.
What's up, guys? The problem with Darren said, is it a good thing to grow the game? It's not in the fact that they're trying to take fighting out of the game, and if it takes a massive brawl to get national media to talk about it, that's a problem. Because, you don't see that anymore. Because, like I said, they're trying to get fighting out of the game. And if you're going to have less and less fights, then you're going to have less and less national media talking about it.
So you think – so what are your thoughts on this? Because so you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing that it takes this brawl
for
national media to talk about it.
I got you. And that's what I expected to hear from Nate and wanted to hear, because I do feel that he's right. Like, Nate is a hockey fan.
He is.
Right. Adam on our text, he's a hockey fan. Okay. NASCAR fans, I know because I've had these conversations with them. They really get ticked when this happens, because they're like, oh, that's the only way you're willing to talk about the sport.
Yeah.
Like, this has to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the only time you're going to mention it. I get it. I do.
Yeah.
But I also see it from the other side and say, well, they are talking about it, though. So would you rather them not talk about it?
Well, there's two schools of thought. Is that all attention is good attention? And then some people think that that's not the case. Some people think that, you want positive attention towards your sport. But what is the NHL doing to try and grow their sport, though? In more organic ways that's going to get more people to watch. And I'm not saying they should turn to hockey, but turn to fighting. But I'm just saying. Yes, Nate.
Real quick, let me ask you this. How much were national media talking about the Golden Knights-Preds game? Because, in my opinion, that was an all-timer. Down 3 goals, come back to tie it with, 5 minutes to go or something? And it's not less than that. And then Preds win in overtime in 20 seconds.
Yeah, what was the answer? What's the answer?
None.
Yeah.
That's not outrageous.
And you're right, Nate. Great game.
Sure.
Fantastic game.
Sure.
The answer is no one was.
No.
Outside of those two markets.
But if the NFL did something like that, that all you'd be talking about for a week.
Yeah. Well, bigger audience, bigger eyeballs.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. Wider fan appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a good day, guys.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Nate.
it. I expected him to say that, and that's why I brought it up, because I do think it's an interesting dynamic, because the fans that are of the sport are like, really? So this is what it takes? But on the other hand, what? How do you know if someone sees a horrific wreck in NASCAR or a fight like this in hockey doesn't have, a little bit more curiosity, and maybe they're going to give it a little bit more run. Maybe they're going to try it again.
I don't think that's typically
I'd say the numbers are small, but if you convert a small number, it's better than none. Like, you didn't have a chance if that didn't happen. At least you have a chance of maybe collecting some extra fans. You have a chance.
I think the fans you collect are going to be scant and few. I don't think you're going to collect a whole lot of fans doing it that way. You have to, if you think about things that are going to draw people in, baseball did it with the home run derby in '98 between Sosa and McGuire. Now, was it artificial? Well, we've learned now that, it mostly was, but, did it drive people to the sport? Were people watching baseball who normally would not be watching baseball just to see if Mark McGuire or Sammy Sosa was going to hit a home run? The answer is yes. And were they watching every day? The answer is yes. And, were they cutting in to other sporting events just to see McGuire at bat, just to see if he was going to do it? Yes. Yes, they were. So, but there was nothing buffoonish about it. It was nothing embarrassing about it, at least nothing that we knew at the time anyway. It's a more organic way to grow the game. And I don't think this is a good organic way to grow the game at all. I don't.
All right, we'll come back. Eli Gold will join us next, and we'll do that here as you listen to the McFarland Show on WNSR. Buyandtow.com. Get cash for junk cars. Do you have a vehicle that's become a problem? You can get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. They'll buy your vehicle no matter the condition, in your driveway, at your mechanic shop, or even on the side of the road. You can call them at 615-480-6473 or visit buyandtow.com. Get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. 615-480-6473. Buyandtow.com. That's buyandtow.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Bob's Steak and Chop House, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, is a nationally renowned steakhouse specializing in the finest corn-fed Midwestern prime beef. The menu formula is simple. Incredible meat, gigantic shrimp, fabulous salads, and decadent desserts. Start your experience at Bob's with the fried calamari or fresh scallops seared in Texas burnt honey. All the beef at Bob's Steak and Chop House are USDA prime cut. From the traditional filet of tenderloin and ribeye to the adventurous Kansas City bone-in strip. They even have 2 different surf and turf options. And if you're looking for the other white meat, Bob's Steak and Chop House serves a dry-aged pork tomahawk with homemade applesauce. Fresh seafood is on the menu from salmon to scampi and even fresh lobster tail. For reservations, give them a call or log on to the Omni Nashville Hotel website. Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. Guess what? The Cats are back. The Nashville Cats will be returning to the Municipal Auditorium on April 27th in the season opener against the Minnesota Myth. There will be 5 total games played at Municipal Auditorium, with 1 additional game played up in Clarksville at F&M Bank Arena on Armed Forces Day on Saturday, May 18th. For player or dance team tryouts or tickets, log on to thenashvillecats.com.
It's a Bill King Show.
We are college football centric. That is the sun that warms our planet that we live on. Our planet actually isn't flat or round. It's an oblong spheroid. And we are here to proselytize about it, edify it every day on this here radio show.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Rolling along on this Thursday afternoon, Darren and Justin here with you. We are the McFarlands. By the way, you can watch the show every day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can interact with us on our YouTube page. Just type in WNSR Live, one word, and we'll see what you're putting out there, and we can exchange some comments back and forth. Did you know our next guest, Justin, has a hockey background?
I did, actually.
You did?
Yes.
I like it. We were talking a little hockey in the first segment. Crazy, crazy night at Madison Square Garden as the Rangers and Devils just fisticuffs everywhere. But we didn't bring Eli Gold on to talk about that, even though he did a season of Predators hockey and has, believe it or not, early on, his early days, hockey. Yeah. Hockey. Eli Gold. Eli, how you doing?
How are you? Good, I am well. And that was something last night, wasn't it?
Well,
hockey the way it used to be played. When I did the Eastern Hockey League, you'd go into Johnstown, PA, and play the Johnstown Jets, and you'd skate for 45 seconds and fight for 45 minutes. That's the way hockey was in those days.
It was appropriate that it was in Madison Square Garden, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. It didn't even make 45 seconds, though. So,
no, it did not.
No, that was the difference.
No, as I said, they dropped the puck, Eli, and nobody went after the puck.
Exactly. It was a race to see whether the gloves or the puck hit the ice first.
That's right. That was my question. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because I understand both sides. Like, the hockey fans are like, really? This is the only time you'll talk about us when this happens? But on the other side, it did bring a lot of attention to the sport. A lot of people today and last night were talking about it when they wouldn't have, Eli, if it was just a normal game, right? Even if it was a great game, nobody would have talked about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to make heads nor tails of it. But you're right. There were people around the water cooler today at the office talking about, hey, did you see that fight last night? Who wouldn't know if a hockey puck is rubber or filled with feathers? I mean, they just wouldn't know. It's so from that standpoint, it was good. From the negative standpoint, there's really no need for it. You know, hockey as a straight-out sport is certainly good enough to attract and keep fans. But, you know, it's like those people who go to, you know, Nashville Raceway to see the accidents. I mean, it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. But, you know, there are some people who, if they go to the big race and don't see an accident, they're disappointed. So, you know, it's tough to make a good answer out of your very good question.
You read my mind, Eli. In fact, that was the other example that I used. And, of course, with your long background in NASCAR as well, I said it's just like, you know, so many times where I said there's two things that happen. Either two drivers get out of their car and they race towards each other to throw punches in either the pits or on the track, or there's a big wreck, and then the next day everybody's talking about it. And for a lot of race fans, it makes them angry that that's the only way you'll talk about them. But for the sport to get tons of attention the next day, you know, again, I see both sides. I get it.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you talk to the NASCAR brass and you talk to Commissioner Bettman of the NHL, neither side would admit that they like to see the rough stuff. But I think privately they probably want to see it in drastic moderation, but probably don't want to see it eliminated totally.
Yeah. What was that season like for you doing the Predators?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. You know, I started doing hockey when I was a kid, and I worked in the league about which the movie Slapshot was made. And then I went up to the Southern League, then to the American Hockey League, then the World Hockey Association, which was the rival major league to the NHL, and then eventually I made it to the NHL with the St. Louis Blues before eventually joining the Predators. So hockey has been a big part of my life, and I've loved it so. And that year with the Predators was just wonderful. You know, Trotzy was a great coach and a wonderful guy to talk to. I knew David Poyle from years gone by, and he was a wonderful resource to tap into. Of course, you know, Pete Weber and I had been friends for years, and then I met Crispy and all of you guys, and the players were wonderful. So I loved it, and, you know, for a guy who grew up on hockey, I mean, that was the first stuff I did. For a guy who grew up on hockey, you know, and walking into, you know, Maple Leaf Gardens or you know, which I did with the Blues really originally, and the Montreal Forum in those days, to do a broadcast out of those buildings was just wonderful. And then the teams that weren't in the league back in my St. Louis Blues days, you know, teams like, you know, like Calgary, for instance, who was still in Atlanta at the time, you know, doing a game at the Saddle Dome in Calgary, that was a lot of fun to me because I'd only seen those places or read about them. But it was a great year. They got outstanding goaltending, you know, from Thomas Vokoun back at that time, and then Pekka showed up. It was great. I loved it so much, and I was sorry when you know, they said that I couldn't continue my Alabama football and do the Predators. That was the bottom line to all of that, is that when the time came, the Preds wanted me to do every single game and have a presence in the community in Nashville, which I love to do. I mean, Nashville's a great city. I've got tons of friends there. I love it. But I wasn't going to give up the Bama games in those days.
Yeah.
And that's what basically eventually, you know, forced us to go our own ways.
The man, the myth, the legend, Eli Gold on the line with us, and that's where I want to go with this. And I've said this on the show. I've said it to our listeners. I've said it to Justin. Like, it's going to be very, very odd, and I mean really, really odd, to listen to Alabama football this season and not hear your voice and not see Nick Saban on the sidelines. It's going to be it's going to be a huge adjustment for a lot of people not to hear you on the call and Nick Saban on the sidelines.
Well, it's going to be a huge adjustment for me and for Coach Saban both. I promise you that as well. Coach Saban earned his retirement. He earned it. I mean, what else could the man do? He's won so many championships. He was just, it was time. And he had some problems with the NIL and with the transfer portal and a few other things that, took time from him. This is great for him, for Miss Terry, for the kids, for the grandchildren. They can enjoy a life while everybody is still healthy and totally functional, if you will. For me, it was disappointing. I battled back from cancer, and then the university felt they needed to go in a different direction, and that's what they told me. They just said, we're going to go in a different direction. And that was, I thought, after 36 years, a somewhat lame answer. But, what are you going to do? You can't fight City Hall. And within 2 hours of me being let go by Alabama, the folks at Jacksonville State University called me and brought me right in. I've been doing their baseball now for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They brought me right in, and I've started doing baseball, and I'll be doing a lot of other things for them. So, it was disappointing. There's no question. But, one thing they cannot do, they will never be able to take away the memories or the friendships that I have made over those 36 years. I wish they had given me more answers. They didn't think I had done a good job last year, and I differed on that, as you would expect I would differ on that. But, they didn't think I was up to standards. I beg to differ because I listened, and I am my own most severe critic. And I assured them, I said, look, if I'm not doing the job, I'm going to step down. I'm not going to embarrass myself, let alone the university. I'm going to step down if I'm no longer getting the job done. But they didn't want to give me that opportunity, and that's that.
Eli, we've never met, but my name is Justin McFarland, sir, and I am...
Are you related to the other?
Somewhat, but not really, no. It depends.
Okay.
It depends on what day you catch us. Eli, I do 5 hours of morning television here at the Fox affiliate in Nashville, and once upon a time, I was the sports director for just a little bit down at WAAY-TV in Huntsville, Alabama. So I'm highly familiar with the area. I was there the day Nick Saban was hired down there. I understand how different of a place it is when it comes to football and when it comes to college football in particular. And I've seen you've done a lot of things in and around the Birmingham area, the Bulls and the Barons and things like that. Do you, and I'm asking for a friend, Birmingham is a place that I think could have very easily have been Nashville a few years ago,
yeah.
and it just didn't
Definitely.
go that direction. What do you think it's a conscious decision? Like, why didn't Birmingham blossom the way Nashville did? It's got everything that Nashville's got.
I think the thinking was not there. The progressive looking was not there. And the city, as wonderful as it is, and I still live in Birmingham, and I love it, although I actually live in a suburb of Birmingham, so we don't technically answer to we have our own mayor and stuff like that. But the greater Birmingham area, Jay, just did not have the forethought that some cities did, like Nashville, like Atlanta in its growing phase. And then there are a lot of people who say, well, that's good. We don't want to be like Atlanta, and we don't want to have to deal with the traffic on 40 and 24 and 65 as they have to in Nashville, and so on. So that was the reason. There were opportunities there, but I don't think they didn't have in the growth stage years ago. I don't believe the city leadership had a forward-thinking approach the way they needed to.
I wanted to ask you about you and your journey a little bit in this way, that you're so synonymous with the South, with Alabama football, with the voice of NASCAR, and you grew up in New York. You grew up in
Isn't
Brooklyn.
That wild?
I mean, what? What? Who knew that the voice of NASCAR and Alabama football grew up in Brooklyn? Like, how does that happen?
It happened because
you're a Yankee, sir.
I wanted to do more than just hockey. Okay, I was doing hockey in New York, and I wanted to do more. And there were no other opportunities there. I wasn't going to be hired by the Giants or the Jets. I was not well connected. I was not going to, be hired in those roles. But when the World Hockey Association became an entity, the rival major league to the NHL back in those days, when the WHA became a factor and they moved the Toronto Toros, who could not compete with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It just wasn't working in that market. They moved them to Birmingham, and Birmingham needed a hockey announcer. I was working at that point in the minor leagues with the team that was Birmingham's farm club. So they brought me into Birmingham to do the play-by-play. So that's what got me south. Once I got in, I started doing a talk show, which at that time was the first talk show in the state of Alabama. Sports talk, I'm talking about. The first sports talk show in not only Birmingham, but in the state of Alabama. I brought it to the state. I then started doing Barron's baseball, and I was doing then Bulls hockey. When the Bulls were there, of course, that's what brought me there in the first place. So I just stayed. And then in 1988, when the Alabama job opened up, I wasn't the best candidate by any stretch, but I knew the right people. I was well enough connected that I was able to get the play-by-play job, and I've been there ever since. It's a wonderful city in which to live, just like Nashville is. It's a wonderful city in which to live. But, it was sports that moved me. But I always used to talk with a guy who I was honored to meet. His name is Mel Allen. You may know the name, the longtime voice of the New York Yankees and This Week in Baseball and all of that stuff. Well, Mel was from Bessemer, Alabama. His color man, or his co-host on the broadcast, more appropriately put, was Red Barber. And Red was from Columbus, Mississippi. And these two men from the Deep South moved to the Bronx and became the voices of the New York Yankees. Well, I was a Yankee fan because when I was growing up, the Giants and Dodgers had already left to go to the West Coast. The Mets hadn't been born yet. So I was in that short period of time growing up in the city, although I stayed there till I was 23. But when I was growing up, when I was of that impressionable age, if you will, New York City was a one-team city. You wanted to follow a home team in baseball, you had to follow the Yankees. That's all they were. Of course, the fact that they won championships every year didn't hurt, but they were the only team in town. And I used to go to bed at night with my little transistor radio. And for you youngsters listening in, if you don't know what a transistor radio is, you can Google it. I used to listen to Red and Mel do Yankee baseball. I'd go to sleep. I'd fall asleep to them doing the games. And then years later, when I got a chance to meet Mel Allen, who himself was a former voice of the Crimson Tide when he was still in Alabama, Mel and I used to talk all the time about how it was that he went from Alabama and I went to then he went to New York, and I went from New York to Alabama. It was just the opposite, and we used to talk about that all the time. He'd come up to the booth, and not on the air, but he'd come up before the game and visit with us and shoot the breeze. So, yeah, it was very odd that here I was doing the deep, a southernmost university, Alabama, and a sport like NASCAR, which was, deep-seated in the South, and it was a kid from Brooklyn who was doing the describing.
I just learned something. I did not know Mel Allen at one point was the voice of Alabama.
Yes, he was.
I did not know that.
Wow.
Golly.
Yes, and he was, and he was also Melvin Israel at the time, and the station manager felt that the name might have been a little bit too ethnic for the listening audience, so he took the middle name, Melvin Allen Israel, and he became Mel Allen.
Wow. Great story. Eli, as we finish this up, but we're obviously very, very excited. Third go-around for the Nashville Cats in this market.
Right.
And you're going to be the voice, and that makes so many people so happy. How did that all come about? And, tell us, they're about ready to get things going. I mean, that's the cool thing.
They are. Training camp is opening up the end of this week.
Yep.
And they'll be ready to go. They've got some great players from the region coming in, not to mention guys, like Charlie Brewer, the great quarterback from Baylor. He'll be there, and many, many others. But it came about because I was friends with people in Nashville, people I had met during my Predators days and all of my visits to Nashville. And one of them was former talk show host Greg Pogue, who I know you know, and he introduced me to others. I met Jeff Fisher, and then when the announcement came that the Cats were coming back, I obviously made note of it, but I didn't pursue anything. But then Alabama cut me loose, and all of a sudden, I was going to have more time on my hands, and I called Greg Pogue, and within 2 hours, maybe 3, they called back and said, "You're hired." And, sight unseen, no audition tape, no nothing. They just, they just said
they went out on a limb, didn't they?
Yeah, taking a risk there.
They really stepped out on that one.
Taking a real risk there. We'll see how it works out. We'll let you know.
So they hired me virtually immediately, and I came up to Nashville the next week, which would now be 2 weeks ago, I guess. And we got the deal done. We agreed on terms, which was very easily done because I was going to agree to whatever they said, quite honestly. And I've been up there a couple of times. I've been there, made sure the Predators were at home, so I was able to catch a couple of games at Bridgestone while I was in town. But we've been visiting sponsors and doing sales and things of that nature. I'm not really the sales guy, but going to visit a sponsor never hurts at all. So we go and take guys to lunch and dinner and what have you. But that's how it happened. I contacted Greg, who spoke to the owners, and next thing I know, they said, "All right, let's do it." And here we are, 3 weeks away from the start of the season.
Yeah. Greg and I have the same birthday, but he's older than me. He's
older than most.
Yeah, he's actually a lot older than me, and we have the same birthday.
Something very interesting. I'll let you go. I'm sure you're running against the clock here, but Municipal Auditorium.
Yes, sir.
Which is where the Cats will play. I did hockey in that building.
Oh,
back in the 70s.
Were they the Knights?
No, they were the Nashville Dixie Flyers.
Dixie Flyers.
The old Dixie
Flyers. Nice.
Yes, I was doing the Long Island Ducks in the Eastern Hockey League, and we played in Nashville. And I tell you, the place looks great. They have cleaned it. It looks super. The chairs are reupholstered, everything. But I did go looking for a piece of gum I stuck under a table back in 1970-something. I said, I wonder if that piece of gum is still there.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know the answer to this.
It was not. It was not.
Okay, good.
The table wasn't. The table wasn't there either. So I don't know. But yes, I have a history in that building that goes back, to the 70s.
Eli, I'm going to let you in on a little secret as we let you go. Their decision to bring you in and say yes to you being their voice was about as quick as us naming this show the McFarland Show.
Yeah.
Okay. It was about the same time difference. Okay, about 3 seconds.
That was a natural for you.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Eli.
Yeah, well,
always,
I'm glad you guys are doing well.
Well, we always appreciate you coming on and talking with you. And we plan to do it, if you'll allow it, this season. So
thank you, sir.
We would love to keep that
please
going.
Call anytime. You've got my number.
Thank you, Eli. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. See ya.
Eli Gold, the one and only.
Man.
How about that?
Man. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
We could have kept going.
We'll talk to him
into the next hour. We could have been talking to Eli.
All right, we're wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600 is how you get in touch with us as you listen to the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to catch all the hockey and hoops action this spring, look no further than the Alley Pub in Bellevue. And now here's Samantha to tell you about one of their great weekly specials.
Attention service industry. We want to say cheers to you at the Alley Pub, located at 7040 Highway 70 South in Bellevue. Every Wednesday night, bring a copy of your ABC card or pay stub to receive 20% off of your tab. Only at the Alley Pub, Bellevue's best sports bar and grill.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or text healthy to 511-511. Text healthy to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request. Paid for by Dr. Marty's Pets.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Tony Pollard is younger. He's 3.5 years younger than Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You're getting him in his prime, and as Adam just stated, you're not asking him to be a bell cow. You've got Spears and Pollard.
Yep.
That's where the league is today.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today, mostly cloudy skies, isolated shower thunderstorm in the evening. Today's high will be 54 degrees. Otherwise, it's going to be clear with frost forming tonight, the low 34. Friday, sunny, high 58. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi. Sports Radio WNSR.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
615-844-5600. Eli Gold, man. That was just too easy. We could have gone on and on.
We could have gone commercial free all the way to 4 o'clock.
Yeah, easily. All right, good stuff. We'll talk to Alex Doherty to begin the second hour of the program. Predators' big game tonight at Bridgestone Arena against the St. Louis Blues. Let's go to Bob in Antioch. Bob, what's up?
Darren, that Eli Gold, he's one likable Yankee. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yes, I wouldn't mind. That's one Yankee I wouldn't mind having as a next door neighbor, and I wouldn't say that very often.
No, me either, but you are correct, sir.
All right, Darren, it's the Thursday before the Final Four. Do you accept silly, fun calls? Because that's what this is going to be. It's really ridiculous.
Of course.
I'm going to give you. That's half the calls, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give
Just don't
you
swear.
I'm going to give you my all March Madness team.
Okay.
You have to have won a national championship, and you've got to play well at the Final Four. So Larry Bird will not be on this team, Darren.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with the point guard. I'm going to let you guess it. He's a tall guy that played in the Big Ten.
I'm going to say it goes by Magic.
That would be it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Is he as good as any college point guard that we've seen overall? Especially, he won a championship.
No one is going to push back on Magic.
Yeah, but as good as anybody's ever walked on a basketball floor anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Now, he's not the three-point shooter some of these guys are, but he would still score.
All right,
my shooting guard also played in the Big Ten. You're probably not going to know this. A lot of people won't know this.
Shooting guard, Big
This
Ten.
shooting guard set the single tournament scoring record. Darren, no one has ever scored more points in an NCAA tournament than this guy scored for Michigan in 1989. No one.
This is pre-Fab Five?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
no
this
one
is
has
right
scored more points. He still holds the record all these years later. Glenn Rice of Michigan.
Oh, good one.
He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
Agreed.
All right, my small forward played out in Tornado Country. He was a one-man team. Without him, I think his
Danny
team would have
Manning.
gone to his team would have gone to the NIT without him.
Yep.
He led those knuckleheads
Danny
to
Manning,
it.
for sure. 100%.
Very good.
All right, my small forward, you're going to love this guy. Everybody loves him. He went back-to-back. He's the all-time leading scorer in tournament history. Not average, just total points. He won back-to-back. Everybody hates him. Everybody hates his coach with the big nose.
Some guy named Christian?
That would be him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying his name. Okay, now you better have Akeem. You better have your center as Akeem, or we're going to end this discussion right now.
I'm going to go with a guy named Lou Alcindor.
Alcindor.
Yeah, but Akeem in college was, golly, man. He took that Houston team.
Darren, he didn't win a championship.
I know.
Him and Larry Bird can go sit on the bench. They don't make the team.
That's true. You're right. He did
short there.
Well, they went back-to-back years, right? And didn't win.
Think so.
They went 83, 84, but Kareem went 3 years and he won 3 years.
Yeah, but
he had a guy named John Wooden, though, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he had a guy like 6'1" guarding him too. So no, I'm just kidding.
He probably did, and John Wooden also had a millionaire booster running around paying players. But I don't want to go into that.
Oh boy,
that was before NIL. Well, before NIL.
And my coach of the all-time March Madness team, John Calipari.
No, I don't believe that. Boo.
What a knucklehead he is.
Yeah, he's turned into a ball roller. He really has.
He is. All right, that's the all-March Madness team.
I love
now
it.
Let's get back to the seriousness of the games. Connecticut's just going to beat the crap out of everybody as they've been doing.
I don't know. They had plane trouble, so I don't know. Maybe that's a distraction for them.
Did they get that figured out?
I think they did.
Did they make it?
There's conspiracy theories out there.
The conspiracies.
Yeah.
Can't have that now.
Flame trouble. That team's so good they could have walked to the game and still won.
I know.
They
That's
can't
true.
be beat.
I know.
So there's a big gap between them and whoever's number two. I think Purdue is going to be your runner-up, but there's a wide gap between Connecticut and Purdue.
100%. Bob, appreciate the call as always.
See.
All right, take our final break. Come back, wrap up the first hour next.
The Locksmith Company, our full-service locksmithing expert, is reminding listeners that every 2 seconds someone in the U.S. needs blood. Giving equals living, so please consider donating blood today. This message is brought to you by The Locksmith Company, a proud veteran employer for all your residential, commercial, or automotive locksmithing needs. Call today for a free estimate or 24/7 emergency service at 931-801-5427, 931-801-5427. And also visit the lsco.com. The Locksmith Company is looking forward to seeing you.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-240-4917 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-240-4917. That's 800-240-4917. Again, 800-240-4917.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's JB and the Generals.
We're going to re-sign Derek. We're going to bring Ryan back for one more year. I can win with
the band is coming back.
What happened last year? In the 11th hour, they signed D-Hop. But I strongly believe that Vrabel at the last hour, slammed his fist on the table and said, I can win with this team. Let's not start the rebuild.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
It's true. 615-844-5600 here on this Thursday. It looks like USC is back, baby.
Yeah.
Telling you. Lindsey Gottlieb, she's not leaving. They're going to be hip again. USC's going to be good. They just got themselves a new men's basketball coach. And everybody listening to this show probably has heard his name. He's leaving Arkansas. Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
Now going to be, he's replaced Andy Enfield.
Yeah.
Who was the guy, what was he at Gulf Coast? Remember when they made their magical run?
Yeah.
That's the guy Florida Gulf Coast.
I want to say Eric Musselman is the West Coast guy himself.
I know he was at Nevada.
Spent some time. I think he was the NBA assistant out there.
Yeah, Eric Musselman has his ties up. But look,
yeah.
I'm telling you, USC. And USC's in the Big Ten now.
Yes, they are.
It's going to be the new hip thing. Sorry, Lady Vols-Ying. Probably not getting Lindsey Gottlieb. She's staying put.
I mean,
USC women and men's basketball is going to be good.
I don't know. I think there's a chance here.
All right, we need to take a break because Damon's going to start sniffling and crying. We need to go give him a hug.
He'll be all right.
What does that have to do with here?
That's Justin's hug right there. He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
Just use those national championship banners to wipe your tears. Got plenty of them out there in Tennessee. He'll be fine.
We'll come back.
He'll
Hour
be
number
fine.
2. Relax.
He'll be fine.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Following the Israeli airstrikes that killed 7 humanitarian workers in Gaza, President Biden expressing his outrage to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call today, demanding Israel take concrete steps to protect civilian life and boost aid, or the U.S. policy toward Israel could change. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby.
It's not just about the announcement of concrete steps and changes in their policies, but it's the execution of those announcements and those decisions and implementing them.
Netanyahu also facing pressure from the U.S. and from within his own country to finalize a ceasefire and hostage release deal. Spring storms looking more like winter in upper New England. Heavy snow continuing to fall for a second day in Vermont and Maine, leaving tens of thousands without power. And days after a major earthquake struck Taiwan, crews are still searching for people trapped in partially collapsed buildings. At least 10 are dead. This is ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouth-watering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big beefy burgers, and so much more. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Throw me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio here on this Thursday afternoon. We are the McFarlands. Darren and Justin here with you. We had Eli Gold on in the first hour, and now we pivot, even though we talked a lot of hockey with Eli.
Yes, we did.
We're going to stick with that theme. We're going to bring in our man, Alex Doherty from the Tennessean, covers the Predators. They've got a big one tonight at Bridgestone Arena as the St. Louis Blues are in the house. They've dropped their last 3, the Predators, trying to get back on track, and St. Louis is a team chasing them. Alex, how we doing?
Doing great. How are y'all doing today?
Doing fantastic. I want to ask you about something we spent a lot of time in the first hour talking about, just because you're our hockey guy, and I just want to know what your take is on it. Last night, there was an incident at Madison Square Garden. Basically, they dropped the puck, and the Rangers and Devils said, forget the puck. I'm going to go chase somebody and go fight them. And it was crazy. And there was 88 minutes in penalty minutes for the Devils and 78 minutes for the Rangers. And a lot of people got kicked out, and it was a mess. But people were talking about it last night and especially today. Is that a good thing for hockey, not a good thing? I just want to know your thoughts as a hockey guy.
I'm so glad you asked this because I thought it was fascinating too. It's always interesting whenever I get texts or, people asking me about hockey things who don't have anything, who don't even watch hockey at all.
Right.
You can always tell if this person's asking me, it must have gotten through to the normies out there who are not obsessed with hockey like we are. But I thought it was a great thing. I'm pretty confident that fighting is not going to come back. It's not going to be a part of the game forever. It's gone away for the most part, and I think that's overall a good thing. But rivalry-based fighting, especially in that scenario, was just great to watch. It was fascinating. It was awesome. I think the only downside was the broadcast did a very poor job of showing it live. They eventually went back and showed kind of a larger. When they showed it on the broadcast, you could only see like one of the fights at a time.
Yeah.
If you're having a line brawl, give me the all 22. give me the whole ice. I want to see all of this go down. I can break it down later, but I want to see everything. That's the fun part. And I asked several Predators players this morning after morning skate about that, and they'd all seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, they'd all seen it. Well, I was wanting to find out, could we see that tonight against the Blues? And they were all like, no, there's no way. So I guess probably too important of a game. And Brunette said the same thing. I asked him about it today, and he said, nah, I'm probably not going to see that tonight. But all of them said it was great. Luke Shin, first thing he said, I said, did you see the line brawl? And Luke Shin said, I loved it. Because he knows that if people are talking about it, it's good for the game.
Okay.
And unless it's something overtly bad, there's obviously some off-ice things that are very bad you don't want people to talk about, but I think it was great. I think it was a great thing for the game. And then look, you also have, when you have a situation like that, the ice time is crazy. You had guys getting 30. Luke Hughes had 32 minutes of ice time last night. He's like 21 years old. That just doesn't happen.
Well, you got to give it to the young guy. Don't put the 34-year-old out there playing 32 minutes.
Yeah, I asked Luke Shen if he'd be ready if there was a line brawl, if he'd be ready to play 30 minutes. He said, hopefully I'd be one of the ones kicked out. So,
wow.
Good answer. Actually, good answer. I told Justin what cracked me up is the two Devils players that were just like trying to skate away. And they're like, oh, crap. There's two Rangers guys, skating around looking for somebody. Oh, I guess we got to go do this. All right.
Yeah.
I was planning on going over to the wall and hanging out.
Are we wearing white? I guess we are. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I asked several players. I asked Lozon about it. Some Cole Smith, some of those guys. But I also asked someone like I asked Luke Evangelista about it. Now if you don't know, he's not a fighter. He's an offensive player. He probably doesn't need to be.
He's
fighting.
A lover, not a fighter.
And he said that if that situation happened, he would love it because then he would get 25 minutes of ice time. He said it'd be great.
Wow, that's crazy. So L.A. wins. L.A. and Nashville have the same amount of games left. The Kings are within a point. So what do you think? What does that mean? And two, St. Louis, this game tonight, 6 points separating the Blues and the Predators. A regulation win by somebody. What does that mean? And take that however you want.
Yeah, so the magic number for the Predators is 8 points anyway. It's best to just think about it as 4 wins, either 4 wins by Nashville or 4 wins against opponents playing the St. Louis Blues. You could there's a lot of ways to look at it, but essentially if tonight if the Predators beat the Blues in regulation, you can probably close the door on the Blues.
Okay, that's what I wanted you to say. Yep. Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, because the St. Louis at that point would have to win out and Nashville would have to lose out, and that just doesn't happen. That would be a pretty catastrophic, once in a lifetime kind of thing. But but here's the other thing: if the Blues beat Nashville in regulation, it doesn't mean that the Predators are in trouble. In fact, according to Money Puck, right now the Nashville Predators' playoff chances is at 98%. If they lose in regulation to St. Louis tonight, so that's like the worst case scenario. They lose in regulation. That 98% goes down to 95%. So it's not even that big of a jump or big of a drop, I should say, if they lose in regulation. Now, you'd much rather just go ahead and beat them tonight, pretty much knock them out, and then you're pretty much only worrying about which wild card spot you're going to get. It's a much better situation for Nashville. It does mean it's a pretty big game. I would say it's a bigger game for St. Louis than it is for Nashville, but you don't want to be in a situation where you've lost 4 straight, including one to the team that's directly behind you, and all of a sudden, then you've got a panic mode, and you're going to have to start changing lineups. You're going to have to really rethink your strategy down the stretch. You can't rest any guys. That would be not a great situation. So there's a lot of reasons why Nashville should really just go ahead and get the win tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger game for St. Louis, but I also think it's still a huge game for Nashville because a regulation win pretty much, kind of like what I was trying to get you to say, pretty much says you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You lose
right.
in regulation, it's like, well, crap, we're not out of the woods yet. Like, now they're now they're creepers, and now we got to get our stuff together. Now we've lost 4 in a row. We haven't got any points in the last 4 games, and now things, as they say, you start gripping the stick a little tighter. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in that scenario in the final 6 games. You want to be loose.
Exactly. It's more about the mindset than I think anything else. And you don't, there's a certain vibe that comes with a winning streak. Well, there's also a certain vibe that comes with a losing streak, and you don't want to be in that situation where all of a sudden it feels like you can't do anything right and nothing is working towards a win. And not only that, but the coaches tend to, overcorrect and move guys in and out of the lineup, change up things dramatically. That would get a little chaotic. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a bigger win or a bigger game for St. Louis, but it is not something that, Nashville needs to have their best game tonight in order to get this one.
Alex Doherty on the line with us, covers the Predators for the Tennesseans. So it looks pretty good that the Stars are going to win the Central and the Knuckleheads are going to win the Pacific. So I ask you, with L.A. and Nashville battling, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, what spot would you rather be in? Who would you would you rather see them play in the first round? What do you think is the better matchup?
I really think it's Vancouver is the better matchup. Neither one is good, but Dallas, the way they're playing now, they're so deep everywhere. They've scored 20-something more goals than Vancouver this year. They're maybe even a better defensive team than Vancouver. Vancouver's very good defensively, but Dallas may be better. The one thing is their goaltending, but I think that's recovered somewhat. So I also think, going to the playoffs, would you rather play Jake Ottinger? Would you rather play Thatcher Demko? It's not there's not an easy switch either way, but they have a little bit better history against like younger guys. Ottinger has been pretty good against them. So I would go a very slight edge to Vancouver, but they have lost all 3 games to Vancouver this year. The Nashville Predators have, so that's not great either. Granted, those 3 games were early in the season. They have not played Vancouver since I think Thanksgiving.
They weren't even really close, were they?
No, they got blown out.
Yeah.
That was when Vancouver was winning games like 10-2 way back in October, and Nashville was one of their early victims. But they haven't played since I think November, or maybe it was early December. So you do wonder what would happen now if the 2 teams face now. Same thing with Dallas. The last time Nashville faced Dallas, they lost 9-2. I bet it would be closer than that now if the 2 teams played. So everything comes in waves, and there's always sort of ebbs and flows of the season. I think right now, I think that Nashville would rather face Vancouver, even with the travel issues.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. Look, travel's real. Even on a charter, It's real. I know. I've done it with them. So why is Dallas good every year? People have been trying to write Dallas off for years. Alex, how do they keep doing this every year when we pick apart what they do in the offseason, and yet here they sit every time, year in and year out, flirting with winning a division or the number 2 seed. They're always, square easily in the playoffs. Like, what? Why don't they ever sweat when a lot of people keep thinking, they're going to take a step back?
And that's even with what, like 6 coaches in the last 10 years or something.
Yes.
Lindy Ruff and Jim Montgomery and Rick Bowness. I think Ken Hitchcock was in there somewhere. I mean, they've gone through coaches like crazy, and I mean, I guess you have to give it to their front office. I mean, Jim Nill, I think that's a big part of it. They've been able to draft well. They've been able to sign good free agents. They've been able to make good trades. They've taken advantage of situations like the Matt Duchene, where they got him in on a $2 million contract, and he's been, a 60-point player. I think it's just that you got to give it to their management and scouts. I think that's the only thing. Like I said, I don't think you can just say, well, Pete DeBoer has turned them around, because they were good before that. So has to be just a great front office management.
I want to ask about the Predators and their health. They seem to be an extremely healthy team this year. I know last year they had a number of injuries down the stretch. So even as they were trying to semi-chase a playoff berth, it was never really happening because they were missing some of their big guns. To me, it would seem, Alex, one of the bigger differences between this year and last year is not only is the team younger, but the team is healthier overall.
It does seem that way. They've had a few recently. They had the defensemen. The 3 defensemen go down, but then they're all now they're all back. The other thing about last year and the injuries last year, so Forsberg got a concussion in February, and I think Roman Josi got his earlier in the year and was playing through it. I think that the reason you saw more injury issues last year is because they didn't really try to work any of those guys back, right? They were, by the trade deadline, they knew they were selling. No need to bring Roman Josi back. No need to bring Forsberg back. And then Ryan Johansson gets his leg cut off almost, not really. Matt Duchene gets his hand cut off almost. Just for some freak accidents. Alex Carrier broke his shoulder. There were a lot of crazy things that happened last year. I think hockey's just, it's a war. They battle every single night and have just become so close to just devastating injuries every single night. You could watch a single shift and watch a guy go into a corner, get hit into the wall, nearly get a puck up high, fall in an awkward way, and you just see him narrowly avoid what could easily be 3 career-ending, injuries right there. And I don't know if it's just they're built differently, but it seems like this year they've done a little bit better job of kind of managing some injuries when guys get little nicks here and there. Like, for example, Forsberg has this kind of strange situation where he's got this cut or something. We don't know a lot about it, but he's got some sort of irritated cut kind of thing going on, and that's why he hasn't been practicing. I think that's a good way to do it. He doesn't need to practice if it's too much to handle. If it was off season, he would just be, able to heal up, but it's not hurting him in games, obviously. He's got like 30 points in 20 games since he's had that injury. So I think it's just, it's always luck. Whenever you don't leave a hockey game injured, I think it's luck. I think that's how I look at it anyways.
Okay, I need your guidance here, sir. You and Darren have been my guide on this hockey journey I've been on. As I look at UC Soros and the numbers he put up here, this year his save percentage at 90.7% there on the save percentage for him this year. Previous years, 91.9, 91.8, 92.7, 91.4, 91.5. Okay, my point is 90.7. It seems like a very minor drop-off, but then, again, in my mind, I'm like, that sounds like a full goal difference there in the percentage. Is that big of a drop-off? Like, how should I consider that number of just 2%?
Yeah, it's a pretty big drop-off. I would think about it like, he's been 10 to 12 points worse in terms of his save percentage than last year. And a solid 10 points less. And by points, I mean percentage points, like not points on the standings or anything. But here's the only thing that I'll say is this: is when you look at a season save percentage for a goalie, I think you can get it can be a little misleading, especially with someone like Soros.
How so?
So if you look if you look at his first 20 games, I bet that save percentage was in the 800s. I mean, it was 87. It was really low.
Yeah.
But the last 20 games, the most recent 20 games have been much, much, much higher. So it's just like anything else. Like if you look at a quarterback's passing percentage, like his first 3 games, he was terrible, but then he brought it on. Those average out to look, like an average number. But if you look at his most recent performances, it looks better. So I think that's part of it. He also, the other thing is he has had a down year. You're not wrong in that. He has had a down year. It's been kind of a puzzling thing. No one can really explain why. But it does seem like he's turned the corner a little bit, and he's back where we would expect him. But I think you're looking at it the right way. He's not had a great year, but it has been better recently. So if you look at his last 20 games, he's much better, much more on his average.
It says goals a game average here this year, 2.82, where in previous years he was at 2.69, 2.64. The year before that, 2.228. Then again, that was the COVID year, so things were wonky here. But again, these seem to be small numbers, but they mean a whole lot. I guess when you're talking about that's the difference between almost a full goal or not a full goal or a half a goal, or it's I just find it interesting, Alex, to see how these small numbers mean a whole lot in the game of hockey compared to if Steph Curry was shooting 39% from 3-point land one year and then was shooting 38% the following year. That doesn't sound like that big of a difference, but in hockey that sounds massive.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's probably similar to like the best finishes in the 100-yard dash or whatever, where it's like, the second best ever is like 0.3 of a second behind.
Wow.
Behind the leading guy. That's just one way to think about it. But also the goals the goals allowed average that you see.
Yes, sir.
I really think of that more as that's more of a team statistic or more of a defensive statistic, because that incorporates everything. That incorporates goals that he allowed on the power play, which it's harder to stop shots on the power play. That incorporates nights where there was just a lot going in that night. It's not necessarily a lot about the goalie. So, I mean, I think save percentage is the best way to judge it. There's also other advanced numbers. Once you get a little bit further along in this hockey journey of yours, maybe we can jump into those. But I think you're looking at it the right way.
Wow.
So, looks like Cody Glass out tonight. Is that what you see?
That's right, yeah. I think Cody is out, and then Anthony Beauvillier, one of their trade deadline acquisitions, will be back in. And I think they're making a change on the power play, which they need to, because that power play on Tuesday was awful.
Yeah.
And I think that Luke Evangelista is going to get on that top unit, which would give a little bit more skill, a little bit more maybe speed in certain ways. He's not a burner, but he can play fast when he needs to. So I think that's important.
Should be a good one. Alex, appreciate it as always.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you soon.
Always. Talk to you later.
Alex Doherty covers the Predators for the Tennessean. You can follow him at AlexDoherty1 on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. He's a really good follow and has a lot of great info. We'll take a break. We're wide open the rest of the hour. If you want to jump in there and get involved in the show like you've done so far, 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
And now, the fine folks at FMR Construction Services are on the air, proudly saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military, both past and present. Thank you. This message is courtesy of FMR Construction Services, your certified pros. For commercial and residential roofing, general contracting, and painting needs, call FMR Construction Services today at 615-788-7662. 615-788-7662. Grizz Nation! Join us Saturday, April 6th at 7 p.m. for a special Marc Gasol retirement night when your Grizzlies take on the Philadelphia 76ers, presented by FedEx. Fans will want to arrive early and stay late to celebrate Marc Gasol. The first 5,000 fans will receive a commemorative vinyl record, and the jersey retirement ceremony will take place post-game. Get hyped, get ready for an epic matchup, and secure your tickets today by visiting Grizzlies.com.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Been a fun show today. By the way, let you know, MTSU fans, or just fans of the women's basketball, or just be fans of whatever.
Yeah, sure.
We're looking forward to it. We've never had her on the show. Savannah Wheeler is going to join us tomorrow.
Hey.
MTSU great.
Yes.
She was the conference player of the year. Unlike her coach, who should have been the coach of the year, they didn't hold that against her.
No.
That they went undefeated in regular season conference play and in the tournament.
In the tournament?
The tournament.
The tournament.
It drives me crazy watching some of these NCAA tournament games, and they keep saying tournament.
The tournament.
I'm like, how do you spell tournament?
I don't know.
Is it T-O-I?
Well,
is it T-O-Y?
Here in America, you don't have to be able to spell it to say it.
I thought it was a tournament, but they call it a tournament.
Maybe it's a tournament where they come from up there.
Do you know anybody who's been to a tournament?
No, you just changed it now.
A tournament?
Now you went tournament. That's not the same thing as tournament. It's different. Slight difference there.
Oh, let's get out of this. Bob, what's up?
Tournament.
Good afternoon, guys. One thing about the Predators' power play problems that I've noticed, and I didn't know if you guys have or if you've seen any statistics about this, even though they're a good face-off team, they lose a lot of face-offs on their power plays, particularly the opening face-off. The other night, for example, they had almost 2-1 advantage in the playoff win, face-off wins during the game, but they seem to lose nearly every face-off on the power play. Have you seen any stats about that, or have you noticed that?
What? So I thought when I looked at the numbers, because Boston is traditionally a good face-off team, I thought when I looked at the numbers, it was 51-49 face-off percentage wins Tuesday night. Was I wrong? Did I look at that wrong?
No, I'm sure you're right on that. It was early. I stopped looking at it maybe midway through the
Okay. I think it ended up being 51-49.
But even though, that was obviously almost dead even, but still on the when it came to the power play, they lost, I felt like, just a huge number of faceoffs, especially the opening, because, Paul McCann does that deal. Your Nashville Predators are on the power play, and by the time he finishes that, the puck has already been cleared. I don't know if you noticed that.
Jeez. Actually, I have noticed that.
Well, the power play has not been good lately.
They are, and this is just power play kill, not face-offs, but they are killing this year 76.5% of their power plays.
No, the penalty kill.
The penalty kill, yeah. The penalty kill.
Yeah.
Is what we're talking about. The leader is Carolina at 85%.
And typically the Predators have had struggles on the penalty kill, but they've been much better this year.
Yeah, they've obviously got to correct their power play issues if they hope to do anything in the playoffs. But that I just didn't know if you guys had seen anything about that.
Yeah, I remember the Dallas series, Bob? What was it, 0 for 6 on the power play? And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to go well. You can't do that. Not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs.
Right. I know. And, Brunette explained part of the problem, he said, was the fact that the Predators play fast, except when they're on the power play. Then that forces them to, I guess, for lack of a better term, a half-court game, and they have to slow down, and that's been part of the issue. But, I think face-off problems are part of it as well. What do you think about tonight? Do you think you have a good feeling about it?
I do. I think they're going to win. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, hopefully.
In fact, if I were to pick up my phone a little bit later today, I would lean toward the team in gold, if you know what I mean.
Hope so. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, I think they're going to win tonight. I do.
It's a game they should win. That's for sure. They should win this game.
Yeah.
History has shown this season that this is the kind of game where they normally win this thing.
I think, look, they played good enough Tuesday night. The score was not indicative of the game. It was a good game. I think you can actually build off of that. I think they're going to win. I do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, we'll be talking about it tomorrow. Like, that's 4 games with no points.
Yeah.
St. Louis is within 4 points.
A little scary.
All right, let's go to Tony in Nolensville. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Tony. Talking about the fight that broke out last night, the old cliche went to a fight and a hockey game broke out or vice versa.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Just drop of the puck, the gloves dropped too. That was pretty interesting. And Darren, I'm like you could see those 2 Ranger guys like, are we going to do that? Do we have to do this?
Well, it looked like they were actually skating to the bench to just sit there and watch, and it was like, oh crap!
Oh, this is a team thing.
Oh man, we're all doing this.
Didn't know this was a team
Everybody's
drill.
got to do this.
I thought this was the individual drill. I didn't know this was a team drill.
Did the 2 goalies ever engage?
No, they didn't. I wanted it to.
I wanted to see the 2 goalies engaged too. I never saw it. I thought, well, maybe you saw it or something.
Let me tell you something. If you think that that game actually got the attention that it got today, think about if the goalies too would have skated in towards each other and dropped it and got after it. Man, that's all anybody would have been talking about today.
That's all everybody would have been talking about. You're right. Tonight, guys, Vandy and LSU take on each other down in Baton Rouge. An interesting series. You've got one team, the defending national champion, hadn't won a weekend series yet.
No.
In the conference, and you've got another team in Vanderbilt involved in 3 sweeps. 1, they got swept on the road. 2 sweeps of taking care of business at home. So it's going to be interesting, and surely of course, I want Vandy to come back with it don't have to be the sweep, but at least get the series win. But we take a sweep if that's what it meant. But that is going to be an interesting matchup with these 2 down there in Baton Rouge, and that starts tonight. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it is. It's one of those Thursday series.
Too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. So
it's very clear that LSU hasn't been able to replace the number 1 and number 2 picks in the MLB draft.
Right.
They haven't been able to rebuild that quickly.
Backtracking to yesterday, Justin, McFarland.
Hi.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes, sir.
I went up and down the dial yesterday, listened to different competitors and sports shows.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And watched this and, watched a lot of stuff. You, my young friend.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for calling me young. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Are the only individual that seem to be ho-hum about the trade that Mr. Diggs going to the Texans.
Oh.
I've seen you show more concern with a car stalled on the interstate being fixing to be towed away than you showing any concern about Mr. Diggs and the Texans.
Oh, man.
Well, you weren't the only one. I think I think his stance got Adam in Portland to call in.
Yeah,
there were
it did.
several people that called in that were not happy with the Baby Ruth and the punch bowl approach
just
by
didn't,
Justin McFarland.
They didn't understand my lack of alarm.
Justin.
Yes, sir.
You showed the same type of behavior when Saban stepped down. Everybody was kind of shocked and surprised. Even Bill King, the guru who we talk about, even Bill King has a promo saying, I thought Saban had 5 years left.
Bill had taken a stance.
But
that
you, Mr. McFarland, said, oh, well, that's just the way the business is. So I just want to get...
he said, oh, well, just take Old Hickory Boulevard. It'll be just as fast.
Right. And there are things in the sports world that kind of shake your head. But
yes, sir.
You just play things up. A lot of times you are the mounds of an almond joy. You don't care about the nuts in it. You're just the plain old coconut and chocolate candy bar.
I'm not sure what
I don't know what that means.
Tony, your phone calls get really cut off.
I don't know what that means now.
How do you take
I've
that?
gotten lost. I'm not sure.
You're just ho-hum about everything.
No, I get, listen, I've gotten pretty excitable about certain things. It depends on what it is. I'm not going to go back over certain
You're excited about a car being towed off the interstate.
Well, there were lives at stake typically with the car being towed off the interstate. That's why, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to just say, I just had to have a little fun with you today.
It's okay, sir.
Yeah, good show as always. And when I don't call in, I want you to know I am watching or listening.
You clearly are, sir. Clearly, that is the case.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
I love that analogy.
Thank you, Tony.
This semi just skidded off 65.
Yeah. Apparently
this is
crickets.
bad. This is bad. Stephon Diggs. What's the big deal? I don't get it. So he's what? He's with the Texans.
He said they're going to be all right. They did one last year. What's
the big deal?
What's the deal?
What are we talking about here? Stephon Diggs, what's the big deal about him?
He's one of the best receivers in the world.
What's he going to do in Houston?
What's he going to do in Houston? I don't even know what he's going to do.
What's going to happen?
Houston won last year. Who cares?
What's the big deal?
They beat the Titans last year without Stephon. So now
they won a playoff game without him.
Right.
So what's about to happen now?
What's going to happen?
No big. They got C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah. Remember the team who we were all praising last year, Jacksonville? Remember them?
Yeah, they don't even matter.
Nobody wants to talk about that now. Jacksonville was going to set the league on fire. Trevor Lawrence is just getting started. Did you see what he did? He went out and won a playoff game. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the man. And now he's getting all these teams coming back. What is the AFC better get it together? AFC South has been put on notice because Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars are rising. Did you see what they did? Did you see they gave Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs all they wanted on that playoff field? I'll tell you what, they're coming. They're coming. They're coming. The Jaguars are coming.
The Texans have just traded for Micah Parsons. I don't know what the big deal. Well, they're the defensive player for. They got Will Anderson.
I'm just saying.
What's the big deal? They won a playoff game.
It's a week here to Lear.
Tony Pollard.
What's the big deal? Micah Parsons.
People are trying to act like they just turned on football yesterday. They don't know what even happened.
I don't get it.
I'm just saying.
Wrong answer.
Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape. Trevor Lawrence is going to set it on fire. What are we going to do?
We're going to need a little bit more excitement from you.
I'm just saying.
You have been called out for 2 days about your Stephon Diggs.
It's okay.
Approach.
People talk crazy to me about the Steelers, too, and what happened? People laughed at me about the Buccaneers, and what happened?
I'm going to go back and find that part.
It's fine. Listen, I'm just saying.
Just a little preview. We will have our top 10 this year. Justin has Houston 24th.
Yeah, 24th. Dead last.
Out of 32 teams.
They're behind Rice this year.
Rice?
Yes. Behind Rice. Yes.
Before the Diggs trade, he had him at 22.
22.
He dropped them.
They dropped
to 24.
Several spots. Don't know what they're thinking down there. Just happens.
Let's talk about Stephon Diggs when we come back.
If you want to.
Do I need to play the crickets?
I think we already have. Have we already talked about Stephon Diggs? But if you want to keep talking about it, that's cool with me.
No, this is what we're going to do on the other side.
Sure.
I want you to be thinking about this.
Think.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay, with all the signings. Because free agency's starting to calm down, right?
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't mean it's over.
No.
But it's calmed down. It's settling in.
Ryan
right?
Tannehill certainly hopes so.
Basically, everybody's turned their.
You certainly hope it's not over.
Well,
yet.
you're right. There's we can name guys like that.
Yeah.
That there'll still be some moves here, but if we're being honest, teams have turned their attention to the draft now.
Yes.
Now they're like, okay, we'll figure that out a little
3
bit
weeks
later.
from today.
That's right. So today, I want you to think about the bottom 10 teams where they sit cap-wise.
Cap-wise.
Which is bad, right? If you're at the bottom, you're in a bad spot.
Like you don't have any money.
You could do the top 10 as well. Who's still sitting with the best cap space today, top 10? Who's sitting at the bottom today in cap space?
Got no money. Okay.
Because remember, the new year started and they had to be compliant, right?
Everybody had to get under the cap. Yeah.
That's right. Everybody had to get under the cap.
And some trades and stuff.
So everybody's under.
Yeah.
But if you're in the bottom 10, you're probably barely under. So be thinking about that.
All right.
You're in the break. We'll play that little game. All right. You listen to the McFarland Show. What's the big deal? Here on WNSR.
Fun is in full bloom, Tennessee, and the Multiplier Instant Games are buzzing in. These colorful tickets offer chances to multiply your wins 10, 20, 50, and even 100 times. It's a beautiful day for bigger and bigger prizes, and they're ripe for the picking right now. Find the Multiplier Instant Games today at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown starts right now, and the East already knows. Don't sleep on the Atlanta Braves.
Swung on, belted, deep right field, gone! Home run, Michael Harris.
Tomorrow night, it's the 2024 Atlanta Braves home opener as Truist Park comes alive for the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:05 p.m. live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Eric Musselman has left Arkansas. They were a hot mess this year. Seemed like a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And he has taken the job at USC.
Had a good year the year before. Nice run.
Oh, yeah.
And then this past year.
Actually, his years at Arkansas until this year, he had all his runs. Didn't they get to the Elite Eight, twice?
Well, at least the Sweet 16. I can't say the Elite Eight.
I think they went further.
But, yeah. No, they had a nice run. That's for sure. I think they did the Elite Eight once. I don't know if they did it twice, but they did it once. But, veteran NBA coach at this point, now veteran college coach, and getting a chance at a big job there at USC in a bigger market. So we'll see. We'll see if he can make it happen there.
So LA's bigger than Fayetteville?
Just a little bit.
Are you sure?
I'm positive on that one. I work on the news. I know these things.
He had Elite Eight, Sweet 16.
Okay, so two Elite Eights. Okay.
So the first year was canceled because of COVID.
Okay.
Then they went to the Elite Eight, and then Sweet 16 didn't make it this year. So this was literally his first down year.
Okay.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
At Nevada, he got to the NCAA. He was there 4 seasons, CBI champions, first round NCAA tournament, Sweet 16 first round. At Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Not bad.
Okay. Let's go to the teams right now that even though they're going to have a draft in 3 weeks, by the way, 3 weeks today, NFL draft, still in bad cap shape. So teams 32 and 31 are tied. They have $2 million of cap space right now. Yeah. Do you care to guess who they are?
They don't have enough money to sign their draft class.
No. They'll have to make more moves.
I'm going to guess the Chargers or one of those teams. That's a guess.
Chargers are not.
Chargers are not. No, the Cowboys were pretty close too. I'm not sure if they're one of those teams either. Are they?
So
one of
we're
those
doing
teams?
the bottom 10. I will tell you that the Chargers are not in the bottom 10.
Really?
Dallas is.
Okay.
Dallas has $6 million.
Yeah.
So they are.
Yeah.
They are whatever. However we're doing this. They're third.
Yeah.
From the top.
Third from the
top.
Top or the bottom
of this bottom 10.
Of this bottom 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's not them, who's in that bottom then? I'm going to say, is it someone like Baltimore, who's got a lot of guys under contract?
Baltimore is not in the bottom 10.
Not in the bottom 10.
Nope.
All right. Let's try then. Let's go a little further south from Baltimore, north. I don't know these days. Philadelphia. That would be north. Philadelphia. Are they in the bottom 10?
Not in the bottom 10.
Really?
So right now, Dallas is the only team you've named correctly in the bottom 10.
Let me think about this. A team who has not done a whole lot. How about the New York Jets?
The New York Jets have $2 million in cap space.
Yeah.
So they are at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Well, them and Tampa.
Tampa's the other team?
Other $2 million team.
Yeah.
So Tampa and the Jets.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Staring down the barrel.
Yeah.
Of the salary cap.
They're going to have to make some moves.
Now, there's one team with $3 million. They're just $3 million under the cap.
$3 million under the cap.
And there's 3 teams that are $4 million under the cap.
Would the Buffalo Bills be one of those teams?
Buffalo, $4 million under the cap. Remember, we told you yesterday.
Yeah.
When talking about Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Who's now with the Houston Texans, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills wanted him out so bad, they're eating $31 million in dead cap space.
Yeah.
Now, they got a second-round pick out of it.
Yeah.
In 2025, they are eating $31 million in dead cap space to send him to Houston. That's the 6th largest dead cap hit in the NFL history.
Yeah.
So Buffalo is indeed in the bottom 10.
What about
$4 million.
What about Denver?
Denver. I was shocked.
I'm not.
That the Denver Broncos are not in the bottom 10.
I named them just because, but I'm not shocked that they're not in the, because I know they got all their money tied up in Russell Wilson. I understand that. But who else are they paying? Who else is on the roster? Who else is getting the money? It's got to be somebody else. It can't just be all Russell Wilson. And I can't think of anybody else in their roster that would demand high salary. So
they traded Jerry Jeudy to the Browns.
Yeah, he's not there. So that would make sense to me. Cleveland, speaking of the Browns, I would think the Browns would very much be in the bottom 10.
$4 million.
Yeah.
They are in that $4 million category. So you've named Buffalo and Cleveland. There's one more $4 million team that I don't get. I don't know. You're not going to get it. Carolina. How could they be that? Who do they have? Bryce Young's a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, who do they have? Like, how are they cap strapped? They traded DJ Moore away.
I can't.
What am I missing?
Don't they have a couple of defensive guys, maybe? I'm drawing a blank here. I don't know.
But they are crap. They are crap.
Yeah.
Cap strapped.
Yeah.
Why?
They're giving somebody a lot of money, clearly. Maybe they've got one of the, typically when we can't figure it out, it's a high-priced offensive lineman somewhere who doesn't get a lot of burn, but typically, now is making a lot of money or something.
Maybe they've been because Tepper exactly, he's not afraid to pull the trigger on anybody, anything. Maybe that's a lot of dead cap space.
Could be.
Right?
They could be still paying Christian McCaffrey.
They could be paying Cam Newton.
Could be. Although Tepper was not a part of the Newton era, so probably not. But Jets, Bucks are the bottom 2 with $2 million. That's all they've got left in cap space.
Yeah.
Seattle with $3 million. Carolina, Buffalo, Cleveland with $4 million. The Miami Dolphins with $5 million. Dallas with $6 million. The Atlanta Falcons with $7 million. San Francisco 49ers, $7 million. That's the bottom 10 teams that have cap space left.
Yep, I was right. The Panthers, Darren, are giving Taylor Morton. You know who he is?
No.
Okay. Well,
sounds like a soccer player.
Taylor Morton for the Carolina Panthers, his cap number is $29.7 million. He's the right tackle. 30 years old.
Okay.
So, Derek Brown is another cap guy for them. He's making $11 million. Austin Colbert is $10 million. Deontay Johnson is $10 million.
We'll come back and we'll wrap it up with the top 10 best teams in the league with cap space. Sitting here today, are the Titans in that list? We'll find that out as you listen to the McFarland Show, WNSR.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around. After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack, or the world famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Childress Collision Center is proudly saluting all of our first responders for their service. This message is brought to you by family-owned and operated Childress Collision Center. From a scratch or a dent to a full collision repair and expert paint matching, trust Childress Collision Center. Stop on by 1108 8th Avenue South in Nashville or call 615-266-4441. 615-266-4441. That's Childress Collision Center. They're people who care.
It's a Bill King Show.
Like I've mentioned, I thought Nick had a good 5 years still left in him. This one comes as a complete shock to me. If I sat here and said, I had a feeling, guys, Nick was trending, I'd be lying. That'd be the host trying to act like he knew something he didn't know. Why would I present that to you? I am shocked. I was taken aback by it.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
We told you the worst teams, the 10 worst teams in the NFL today with cap space. Now let's get to, because basically what we're saying is the free agent signing period is somewhat over. It's simmered down.
Yeah.
Everybody's turned their attention to the draft. And yes, there will be a little trickle-down effect, and later on, some more guys will get signed.
Some veterans.
But who's still in good shape? The top 10 teams.
I would guess Washington would be on top of that
Number
list.
2.
They're number 2.
$43 million under the cap.
They didn't sign a whole lot of people.
They still have $43 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Who would be number 1? The Titans still have to be in the top 10, I would guess. Are they still in the top 10? I don't know who's won, but the Titans still in the top 10.
Is that a guess or a question?
That's
a question mark?
That's a guess. So the Titans still in the top 10 here.
Number 3.
The Titans are still there.
$34 million. Number 3.
All right. So, and this is going to sound like a strange one, but how about the Chicago Bears? The Chicago Bears. They play in Chicago.
They're just outside.
They're just outside.
Number 11.
All right. So now I'm starting. The Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings.
Not in the top 10.
Not in the top 10. Well, I guess I don't know what they're doing there. All right. Teams with money to spend then. Who would be number 1 on that list? If it's not Washington, it's not Tennessee, I'm striking out because everybody else I'm thinking of has already paid their quarterback, a significant amount of money, unless it's like the Miami Dolphins or something, but that doesn't make any sense. They've got quite a few players.
Not in the top 10.
So the Arizona Cardinals have paid their guys.
Arizona is
Seattle's already paid their guy.
Arizona's 6.
How about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Not in the top 10.
Really? Well, they got a couple
New
guys.
England, number 1. $47 million.
That makes sense.
Philadelphia, number 4, $32 million.
I don't understand that.
The LA Chargers, $31 million. Remember, they got rid of Eckler and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
I didn't realize they cut that much.
Yeah.
All right.
Detroit, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Cincinnati. There's your top 10.
Las Vegas makes sense. Philly doesn't make sense at all.
That'll do it. Well, that's some Jason Kelsey retire, some other guys. It's going to do it for us today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We look forward to wrapping up the week with you tomorrow, starting at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.